When I was in art school, my very favorite professor had us do an exercise, and it was basically about conception versus perception. So we did a series of drawings and exercises that were like how our mind would conceive of it versus what it actually looked like. And this happens all the time, not just in visual art, but I also teach singing. And I can tell you that people have a concept in their mind of how the sound is produced, and it's not the way you get there. I always talk about it as being the sound is the destination, and the route that you think you're supposed to take, it's the opposite. So there are a lot of things that are counterintuitive. I just experienced this when I was doing my most recent oil painting, and I have a video on here where I break down that process. But there was this ceramic pot in the photograph that I was working from, and I took the photograph. It's my cat, it's my pot, it's my flowers. And I know that this pot is a kind of a turquoisey, bluish color, kind of teal. And when I was painting it, I was painting the colors according to the colors that I know the pot is versus how they appeared in the shadow in the photograph, which was much more of a muddy sage green. So I don't mean to get bogged down in the details, but it's very important to understand that very often creativity is stunted by our concept of it versus allowing our perception to open and to just perceive whatever it is that we're doing. So I invite you to imagine the differences between what's in your head, what your concept is. If you're going to sit down and draw an apple, how you picture it versus what it actually looks like, because sometimes it doesn't make sense. And that's really hard for our conceptual brain to let go of, and it stands in the way of creativity. It's very important to understand how diametrically opposed our cerebral thinking is from the creative part of ourselves. We close down when we are in our analytical mode. We zero down and we get microscopic with our focus. Whereas creating is more about opening the aperture, more about letting in something that we don't necessarily have within ourselves. It's more about creating a conduit and allowing things to flow through us. It's much more unconscious than it is conscious. And this can be a very difficult concept for people to get. But it can be very difficult for people to grasp this when they're first starting to learn how to create. If you want more of this kind of content, obviously follow here, completely free. You can also hit me up in an email if you're interested in working with me. My name is Tanya, by the way.